Hello again, and welcome to Find Your Inner Flavor. We're going to go right into this really quickly because I don't like doing these intros when we've already been having great conversation with our guest, Nathalie, with Overlook Farms. Nathalie and Overlook Farms actually deliver our pork to us every single week.
Yes, indeed.
We've had a relationship with Overlook, or I say we've had a relationship. We've stayed out there quite some time ago. It was several years ago. I'm not even really sure how long ago it was. Probably 6 or 7 years ago, or more than that.
Well, there were just the two houses.
2 or 3 homes. It would have been just the two homes.
And
it was before the fire had happened.
Right. That was in 14. Yeah.
It was the middle of winter that we had gone, and we stayed 2 nights. You had some special where it was like the dinner, the breakfast, the bed and breakfast. And we love sharing the story that we played hide and go seek.
In the one house.
In the one house.
Which you were the only people there.
We were the only ones there. And it was...
There were 4 of us.
Yeah. And they're beautiful, beautiful homes. And the food was phenomenal. And we talk about this pecan ice cream, walnuts. It was a walnut ice cream.
Yum.
It was so good. We were so full after our dinner, and we were able to take the walnut ice cream home. We put it in the freezer. We went for a walk the next day, and we would not leave until all of it was gone because we didn't want any of it going to waste. It was so good. So
that's a little nostalgic.
That's a little talk down memory lane.
I guess if you would just do it the quick, because it's technically your from way back.
The property's been in my family since the 1890s, and in fact, before to part of it, a grant from the King of Spain in 1790, 17,000 hectares, and part of my ground was part of that.
Still part of it.
Anyway, but it has grown. I mean, this whole term organic meaning living, and that's what it has in the 14 years that Overlook Farm has existed as a business. It has grown and changed and evolved. And you mentioned the phoenix. The dragon in phoenix is a symbol of a part of my ground now where the restaurant that burned down was, so that it has definitely risen from the ashes.
It is.
It is.
That makes a lot more sense. I kind of wondered what that was about.
That was, and it is also in the Far East a symbol of weddings, of marriage, which is perfect because we do so many weddings as well, and the dragon is my birth year, and then the pearl is my birthstone, which is also in the middle of that, and it symbolizes wisdom. And I'm like, oh God, please let me have gotten some this morning. But anyway, it's a constantly evolving thing.
Bed and breakfast with multiple properties, also a
wedding venues,
huge wedding venues, and a living and working farm, ranch.
Yes, farm, definitely farm, 327 acres of farm. And that has evolved too. We've done tilapia in the past in greenhouses. That phase has kind of, is on a standstill at the moment because I would really like to investigate freshwater shrimp instead, because if we're going,
yes, we agree with that. That would be nice.
If there's food on a buffet and there's shrimp, that's the thing that is eaten the first.
Absolutely.
So again, the whole thing, just as you guys were talking about SymBowl, the whole point is it's delectable, but it's healthy too. And I know, just actually when in 2008 was when I changed everything to organic on the farm and followed organic practices. That was when my mother got the diagnosis of lung cancer, and the doctor said, you need to eat everything organic. And I'm like, so why are you saying that now, like after the fact? Where is the prevention on this, that everybody needs to be doing that? but it's also, since I was diagnosed with breast cancer this last winter, that I know that I need to eat everything I possibly can, including my coffee, anything, my wine, my whatever it is organic, has to be.
So this is, I'm
you
just
might
gonna
as well
ask
ask
this
this one,
because
yeah.
this
I
is
know
one of
exactly
those
where you're
questions. Yeah. The organic piece is one of those things that.
It's a tricky one.
It is, and I think that it's
can't find
important.
everything.
I think it's important that people understand and know that a lot of our small local farmers are using organic practices.
Bingo.
But they are not certified
Yes,
organic.
That's me.
So can you explain what that is? Because what we want, so much of what we do is about educating the end consumer and to not get bought into what the marketing terminology is.
Absolutely.
Because when we first opened up, our idea was everything be organic.
Local and organic.
Local and organic. And we couldn't find organic fruit for our smoothies. It was a frozen fruit. It was
Now, and
impossible.
surprisingly, now it's amazing how the market's developed.
Yeah.
Now you can, but everything is geared to grocery stores and retail
Yes.
service.
Right.
Not food,
Right.
not food service.
Yeah.
Not bulk.
So explain, because you're using the term.
Right.
Are you
I am using the term following organic
Yes.
practices.
Yes.
Absolutely. And the short term, if I only have, 2 seconds, I'll say organic because I need to explain.
Right.
Right.
But I'm not going to pay and follow all the bullshit that the government throws at us. That takes too much time.
Well, is it even
costs
possible?
Too much money. And there you are with this mentality of you're being forced to do this thing instead of wanting and believing in the concept. One does so much more when you believe in it instead of what you're forced to do.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Yeah. Well, we've had other people. There's a gentleman up by middle of the state that's raising pigs, and he's doing all this, and
Oh, this was the
Yes,
conversation with
yeah.
the older farmer that
and
came
there
in.
are so many hurdles that he has to go through
God.
just to have pastured on the label. It's a
I know.
required, and it was thousands of dollars
Yeah.
too. It
Oh,
wasn't.
yeah.
It's
it-
not, yeah, he was
wasn't-
basically telling us it's not just his farming practices, it's where the facility that it's getting processed at now has to be licensed and certified to be able to put that sticker on anything.
Which is a whole-
absolutely,
a whole nother-
absolutely.
Yeah,
It's a
so
whole
you're
nother
now
label.
paying now the government and federal fees to have that sticker put on. Your work hasn't changed. You're doing organic practices regardless of that label or not that label, but you
But your
can't get
overhead
paid.
just did.
Yeah.
And what are your neighbors doing?
Yeah.
Because you can get fucked from that.
Absolutely.
As we know with Monsanto and the lawsuits
Wind,
against them, but
rain,
it's
dust,
happening
everything.
here. It's happening in Clarksville. It's happening to farmers you know.
Yeah.
Dicamba is this big thing that is hitting here,
Yep.
yeah, among other places. And yeah, farmers are suffering, and that means we all suffer.
So we're always cautious because we don't use, or we always say we work with the local farmers
Whenever we
can.
Exactly.
And it's the organic practices, but they're not going to be certified organic. This is what we do, because the reality is that if we're bringing in certified organic products, it's coming most of the
Most likely
time
from
from
California.
California.
A lot of it.
Possibly.
Colorado, California,
Yeah.
Canada does a
Yeah.
good bit.
So it is these.
And what is that to the footstep?
Yeah, the
The
footprint,
carbon-
the
yes.
carbon
You got,
footprint.
yeah,
Yeah.
2,000 miles of
Absolutely.
refrigeration.
No kidding.
Well, and it's
Well,
the
and
relation,
age.
and it's also the relationships that we
I
have.
love relationships.
I
It's
kn-
so much better. That is what it's
Well,
all
it's
about.
part of our family. It's part of our
Exactly.
community. And for Greg and I and the SymBowl brand, it has been about knowing specifically where our product is coming from. And it's an energy thing. I will always say it's an energy thing.
So we do so much non-traditional crap as it is, just making our own curry paste and making just stuff
Yum.
that we
Good.
could so easily buy off the shelf,
Right.
and nobody would know except us.
Right.
It's like, why are we going to do that and then just get the cheapest, commodity,
Restaurant
pork.
Depot.
Yeah, Restaurant Depot that we, that why are we half-assing it? If we're just going to do it, let's do it. And for us, we realized early on that it wasn't, we needed to be careful to avoid the organic thing because organic is a label. It doesn't.
It's cachet.
Well, and we've seen some restaurants, I'm not going to name any restaurants,
I
but
know
we've
it.
seen some restaurants here locally that use that in their branding and
Marketing.
their
They do.
marketing.
Yes,
and
they
they're
do.
not, because we have seen them purchasing some of the products that they use in their restaurant.
know.
And
it's
we
like-
bite our tongue, but this is what we're always up against is we're saying they can add an extra $1 to whatever
easily.
it is that they're saying
and the
because of
perception
that.
is that it's higher quality.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, but we stay away from that because technically we're not going to be in that category 100% of the time. We know it's not realistic.
It isn't. And that's what I have said for years when people talk about farm to table, that term that, I'm 100% farm to table. There's no way
No.
you can be.
No.
It's just a lie. And it's the same thing with organic. It just is. We aren't in that position yet.
Well, and the reality is, if people, it'd be a great reality TV show. It's like, okay, be farm to table. And we just had a hard freeze last night. If you didn't get your ass out there and got in stuff, you're pretty well done for the season.
Exactly. And that seasonal approach is something that is very important to educate the consumer on. It's trying to get back into the mentality of 150 years ago when farmers and
Greg's
I was gonna say,
farmers' wife, right?
I don't know. That cat's so out of the bag. I don't think there's
I know,
any
but the
way.
thing is, they're not going to be able to, and that's what I tried to do with Nathalies. Is that in the wintertime, you've got certain things in essentially a pantry and frozen and canned and in your cellar that you look for, and you look at that cellar and you go, okay, I have until May to use this, and so that means I need to use this product sparingly. It's just going to be the sparkle of the
Right.
dish, and this is going to be something else. And that farm to table is using frozen fruit.
But they
Yeah,
want
that's
fresh
what it
pineapple
is.
though.
I know.
They want fresh pineapple
they're
on that
stupid.
Easter buffet.
I know, or
Strawberries,
strawberries
that's
on
my favorite.
stupid Valentine's Day.
Yep,
I
that's-
know.
That's my
I
favorite.
hate that.
That's my absolute
I
favorite.
absolutely hate that.
And then they wonder why they don't taste good. It's like,
oh my
are you
God.
serious? It's freaking February.
That's it.
Where the hell do you think these came from?
I know. I know.
Well, we had Chris, your chef, deliver the pork a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
It was fun having a conversation with him because he was kind of walking us through some of the experiences he has when you have only a couple of people staying at your bed and breakfast and there's no other
That's
events
another,
going.
yeah.
So, because you really are, when we're saying true farm to table, in those situations, you guys are really creating every single dish that you have specifically for those people walking in.
And
from
with
what you have.
with their own dietary.
Well,
Yeah.
whatever.
because
So
we all
that's
have them
the deal.
nowadays.
We
Yeah.
do. Yep.
It's like you can't be cool unless you have at least 3 allergies.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what? I mean, I guess for us, outside of
Well,
the farm, what? Go ahead.
I was going to say, can you explain what specifically organic practices mean? Because you said
It means caring. It means really believing it and feeling responsible and doing all the investigating and the research constantly to see how you can do it better, how you can care for that land. I hate the term sustainable because I don't want things to stay the same. I want to make them better. So it's rejuvenation, it's renovation, it's which is what I try to do with the soil and the soul and the whole bit with anyone who visits. But it's all of that. It's trying to take care of those animals' lives that it's wonderful. They have a wonderful life while they're with us. And I see what my main farmer does, my main livestock farmer, and how he interacts with those animals. I did a photo shoot, a photographic thingy a couple of years ago, and I was standing in the cold in a field with cows. And by the time it was toward the end of the shoot, the photographer was saying, could you move the cow with the horns over that way a bit, and those two that are kind of black and white over this way? He had no concept of what it was like, what he was experiencing, because of the special way that these animals are cared for every day.
Yeah.
I mean, I say all the time that the farmers are the stars, not the chefs, sorry.
No, no.
Because
No, it's true.
they're they're
Oh,
out there
when-
in minus 10 and
Absolutely.
110.
I think that's the
one of
piece-
the things I would always tell my students. It's like if you look, there's fundamentally skill set, whatever. If you know how to cook, you know how to cook.
Exactly.
You want to be a rock star chef? Find somebody that will get you great china, great ambiance, and allow you to buy the absolute best products.
Food you can.
Because that's where the difference is.
It
It's
really
like,
is.
You know, a medium rare steak is a medium rare steak. But as far as cooking,
Okay.
as far as the cooking, but what animal that came from is going to
Bingo.
make all the
Oh,
difference.
yeah.
And
It
so you look
really
at all these
does.
superstar chefs, and well, no shit, they have like unlimited budgets. They're getting the absolute best food that they can.
Yeah.
And they're just not fucking it up. Oh, okay, that's pretty easy to be a rock star. If you can just say, here's the best stuff in the world. Well, yeah, I should be able to make a pretty good meal.
I loved before we started recording, I loved how you were describing, when you go into the whole waste of product. And because you are one of the rarities that is seeing it from the very beginning. I mean, from when
Yes.
it's dirt to then growing it and picking it and cleaning it to serving it. And then all of a sudden it's ate and it's gone.
Exactly.
And it is an interesting piece because when I talk, I am always talking about energy, and it's about how that food is prepared, the energy and the love that's put into it. But it really, for us, goes even back, and that's why we work with the local farmers. It is the energy of what is put into that food, the love and the care that is, and it is felt from the very beginning all the way to the complete end. So if somebody is coming in and they're unconscious about what they're doing, how they're eating,
Or in the back, how they're preparing.
yes. Greg and I, oftentimes when we're coaching and training a line cook or a chef that's coming on,
They look at us a little weird.
they
but-
look at us a little weird because we compare cooking to having sex. We do. We say, are you making love to this food?
Be gentle with it.
Be gentle.
Yes.
It's kind of like we're whining
Yes.
and dining
There's
it.
plenty of times to
We're
be rough.
not just out for a one-night stand.
Absolutely.
We are here to love and to nurture it and then to serve it and execute it correctly. Because food is about family. Food is about engagement, community.
Food is every religious holiday, really every aspect of every society. Food is tied in somehow, some way.
Absolutely.
We were having a conversation. Oh, I don't remember who it was with, but where it seems, and you're fighting it looks like. At what point in the recent maybe 50 years, whatever, food went from being something that was very prized. Like for my family, both my parents, well, especially my father, grew up really pretty damn poor. Outhouse, dirt floor, there were one-room, schoolroom, poor. We always ate well, though, because that was where you put your money, and food was valued.
Did they grow their own?
We did actually some of it. Yeah, we
Right.
had several
Your
acres
own
that we
kitchen
had
garden.
strawberries and
Right.
Just stuff out back. But at what point did food become like, what's the cheapest thing I can get? Where people used to put their money.
Walmart.
Was it Walmart? Was it TV dinners? Was it
Yeah,
mass?
that could be
McDonald's.
Was it post World War II
I was
that it
gonna say-
changed? the mass?
1950s, yeah.
Is
Yeah.
that, I mean, and now we're trying to fight that. We fight it because people don't value food the way they should.
No, they don't.
They don't know where it comes from. They don't. For you, I think that's what Becky was getting at, was your struggle with seeing it from literally
Exactly.
bare
It's
soil.
like a child for you that you've seen graduate and move on to now being somebody else's
And
on their
Exactly.
plate.
And
I just
I have
bent over and picked that for 3 days in the sun.
darn
You son of a
right.
bitch
and
better enjoy it.
Exactly. And I pick those blueberries, and my back hurts, and it takes a lot of time to pick those blueberries or cherries. Good God!
yeah.
And the scrapes you get and the bugs. I one year had my executive chef and my front of the house manager come and pick some cherries with me. They were so pissed at me. I just wanted them to feel it.
And then you
This
said,
is what-
now go pit all of them. And then they were really pissed.
Yeah, no kidding. But they're, yeah.
People
it
have
would
no
be
clue.
Really, and they ought to be expensive. That cherry pie ought to be damn expensive when you know everything that has gone into that, how
Yeah.
much time it is.
So how do you navigate that? Because you're fighting, you said Walmart, but it's Kroger, it's
Oh,
all
it
of them. It's everybody where
Yeah.
your pie is $20 because there was true blood and sweat, or the jar of canned pie filling that came from some sort of factory somewhere.
Yeah, I mentioned Walmart because that has hit rural areas so
Yeah.
strongly
Yeah.
and has just destroyed small towns. It has been that education piece now for how many years now for people, and it's that lowest common denominator that this is the standard, and they don't know the rest
Is it just
of
an
the world.
education piece?
I don't know.
I think
wish
I honestly,
knew.
here's my belief, and I mean, I think it's people need to take more ownership and be more conscious of the choices that they're making and how energetically things
But
Oh
make
we
them.
don't let people don't take ownership for themselves.
I
for
know
shit.
that, but
it's always
but
somebody
I
else's fault.
believe I see. You look at the millennials. The millennials are coming in, and they all want to save the world. They all want to travel. They just don't want to do a whole lot of work to get there.
But they do want a ribbon.
But but what I'm saying is that they care. They care, and it starts with that, and that part
Yeah, you
of
like
it.
millennials more than I do.
I do. I love millennials because I believe that once they can identify, they can take that caring piece, which we can't teach somebody how to care.
True.
We can't teach them how to have compassion.
But in a way you can when you get them to have a puppy or a kitten or their own little backyard garden. It's like channeling Alice Waters. and that teaching them what it's like, and that oh my gosh, the nights haven't been warm enough yet for those tomatoes to ripen, or what's gotten into my peppers and I only have, and then valuing, oh my gosh, look what I just got. My son, who is millennial, is now doing his first garden, and he has been living with me for how long? And it's amazing the difference. I think that it is having that, and we've heard stories and read about schools and kids who, once they grow it, they know it, and then taste the difference.
I can't grow anything.
No, you're really good at killing shit.
I am horrible at that stuff. I mean, I have mums outside my yard, outside my door that died within 2 or
You
3
can
weeks.
find,
I'm like going,
think of the vast
you know?
variety of stuff that grows. There's got to be something that is just like calls you mama.
Even air plants right now. I'm killing them all, I feel like. I grew up, my grandparents had a farm, but it was gardens that and I lived with them a lot of the times on weekends, and that was just kind of where my life was growing up. And the story's gone back. Why is the screen door on our Kirkwood location? Well, the screen
I
door
love
is really
screen
there
doors.
because we needed something to be able to keep all the bugs out and
You
open
bet.
the door. But the reality is that my life at my grandparents' house, I'm from Wisconsin, the screened-in porch was the only area
Oh my
that
gosh,
had
yes.
the AC unit on it plugged in, and we would garden, and then we'd spend our afternoon picking
Yep.
the beans and
Yep.
doing all of that kind of stuff.
Absolutely,
And we
shucking the
hardly
corn.
ever we hardly went past the screened-in porch and the kitchen when I was there. I mean, that was where our time was spent, was on the screened-in porch. I mean, we slept out there during the
yeah.
summertime.
Oh, yeah, the smell of rain through a screen.
But it was part of my upbringing and part of the things that we did. And that was family time. That was how I spent my time with my grandparents, was working in the garden and picking
Absolutely.
things. And it was the best.
Yeah.
I mean, it was,
Yes.
even eating it.
Did
Like,
you have internet?
No, I didn't have internet.
no.
I don't even remember watching TV,
Oh,
really.
exactly. No.
You just didn't. You had conversations, and I don't even know what I'd
played
have
games and you
conversations
did other
about.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, card games, 31.
Yeah.
We played 31 all the time. Okay, so Overlook Farms has gone through a lot of transition since
yes.
the fire.
Well, flooding.
Oh, and before that.
And
Oh, yeah, and the flooding.
Yes, and we do, as I showed you, didn't I show you? Maybe I didn't.
part?
We have built berms. No, I haven't.
No.
We built berms, in fact, many incarnations of them around our property to protect us from the flood. We were told by the city of Clarksville the last flood, I guess, after '08, that they weren't going to be able to protect us. We're the largest employer. We are the tax base, but they're not going to be able to protect us. So we turned around and protected ourselves. So at this point, with the last flood issue we had, which was in 15, and the one before that, we were open, we just sandbagged our openings. We sent men and material into Clarksville, and we had our first wedding. We were open. We did what other people were supposed to do, which each person is supposed to do, not lean for those handouts on the
But
government.
you have a business, and if you didn't do that, you wouldn't have a business, you wouldn't be able to pay your bills, and your employees wouldn't get paid either.
It's true,
So there's
but I didn't also open my doors as some residents did. Let the waters come in, and let's pick up a paycheck. Let's get a check.
Yeah,
and
but
I can redo my kitchen
I
this
think
way.
this is what we get all frustrated. This is what gets us frustrated as business owners, is because we see that we're like out there picking cherries.
Right.
And somebody's going to Walmart and buying a can
You
instead.
bet.
This is where we become so frustrated because it is
It's the
a
bitter.
lot of work.
It's
It's
the
the
bitter.
bitterness. It is. It's the
It-
bitterness.
And it's so hard to keep
Is-
it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's so hard
that's
to keep it
Oh,
at bay.
'cause
Wow,
I
he
was
just said
listening
something
to you
miraculous.
before. No, but
It
that is
is.
it. It just it eats at you.
And then everyone picks at you, and it's
Yeah.
like you have a
Yeah.
scab.
Hard. It is
and
really
then
hard
all
doing
these,
what we're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all batshit
The
crazy.
bitter. That's it. Ooh,
So
icky.
I guess that's part of what we all have to. Yeah, I know.
Let that go.
Yeah, yeah. So so what is the vision for Overlook Farms? Because you've created a lot here recently with the new wedding venue.
Right. Okay. It is an ongoing, always changing vision. It is, let's see, basically what am I thinking about now? What is something that is going to last for the future? And that's part of what I look at. But what just kind of floats my boat?
Yeah.
I'm leftover 60s, and I try to make the world a better place with what I do on my own 327 acres, and have been, and I'll continue to do that in whatever I do. I'm not sure what will be next. The way that we raise our meats is wonderful. We're doing less of the produce. We're going to just be more focused on providing for our inns and weddings in that sphere. Selling the fruits, yes. It's going to be kind of down a little bit for a while, and then we'll see what happens after that. Sorry. But it's what happens next. I know. I just read a piece on some solar glass that is going to be made into windows.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Did you see that?
I'm wondering
And,
if that's
I mean, there's
yeah.
new stuff for us to always investigate and see what we can get our hands on and do with the world. I wanted to do. I still have it. I wanted to do my own ethanol, raise the cattails in a cattail marsh, and build my own ethanol distillery. That was one idea that kind of went down the tubes. But hey,
Oh, we know all about that. We can
Yes.
collaborate on that.
I know I still
Ethanol
have.
development. Yeah.
I
yeah,
still
we
have
spent
the
a year on
split-
that one.
Yeah. Oh, I've spent more than that. But I still have my split tank that I was going to sell the stuff as a fuel station too. So that it just depends what is going to float next.
You sold Natalie's,
Well, I'm
or
selling
you're
it. I'm in
okay,
the
but
process.
you closed it down.
Closed it, yep.
Do you think you'll open up another restaurant? Anything? Maybe. I say that in regards to closer here because Natalie's was in the Central West End.
Correct.
Overlook Farms is about an hour outside of St. Louis.
Yeah.
It's a
An
quick-
hour and
it's a quick-
15.
It's
Yeah.
a nice quick drive,
Oh, it
but it's
is.
still an hour and 15-ish.
Yeah.
Are you going to have? Do you think in the future you may have another restaurant that?
I don't think I will do
Yeah.
that for a city restaurant. We'll see what we do in the Clarksville area. I think we're going to be bringing our product into the city. I don't think it will be in the form of a restaurant here. It's time for something else.
It's a
Enough
lot
is
of
enough.
work.
It's
It's
a
a lot
hell
of
a lot
work.
of work, and especially when I transformed and developed that building
Yeah.
at the same time. I mean, so that was a vacant funeral home when I took it over. So, yeah, that's a lot of work and a lot of investment, and I just kind of want to take it easy now. As I mentioned, the breast cancer,
Yeah.
less stress is part of the deal that I have to focus on.
You like washing dishes and
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Though the last thing I had to give up with my now vegan diet is wine. I can't have any liquor.
Oh, you're
okay. So
going
I'm going to ask you
hardcore
this.
vegan.
I'm going to ask you this because you just said that and I didn't know you were vegan.
Have to
I-
be. That's what my survival is now as a breast cancer survivor.
There are a lot. You raise animals, however,
Yes, I do.
to be eaten.
Yes, I do. I don't eat them.
You don't, but you used to.
Yep.
I feel that oftentimes the vegan community is anti-meat eaters completely. And what is your take? Like, because my belief is oftentimes these animals are here and their job is to be in service. And that
I'm
is
with
to
you. That's
feed.
my personal thing.
And
too.
as long as it is being humanly raised.
Humanely,
yeah.
yes, absolutely. And that they only have one short bit of hours on one day that is bad. Yeah. The rest is
and they
good.
really don't even know it.
I think that in the way that most of the processors do it these days, it is as humanely, and they could always improve, but
Yeah, right.
they're trying, which
Right.
is a good thing.
I think
mean-
the bottom line for me is that this is not, we're never going to have everybody on a vegan diet.
No, we're
so
not.
why should we backlash somebody who isn't and vice versa?
Exactly.
The snarky, bitter side of me says, all you vegans, all you're ever doing is putting all of your energy into trying to make a meat substitute. That should tell you something. You want fucking meat. You want bacon. You want a burger.
So good. I
mean-
miss cheese. I miss eggs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I miss. And the duck eggs that we're raising are so darn good. Oh God, I miss that.
Slow down.
And,
And the wine.
and the wine.
Yeah, and now the wine.
So you're even, and is the wine because of
Because
of the
even
yeast and the
one
bacteria?
even one glass doubles my chances of breast cancer coming back. That's what the research says.
okay?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's bad. And it's 1 in 8 of us American women. This is a big deal. This is a big deal. Yeah,
Wow.
scary stuff.
It is, and I think that oftentimes we go through something that could be life-changing before we make the choices to improve our health. And the reality is that if we start taking ownership of that, that's healthcare. Healthcare is
It
really
is.
where are you buying your food from?
It
How are you
is.
taking care of
and
yourself?
you being in control of it by, as you said, knowing your farmer and knowing all of that and picking the best that you can for your family.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really important
Yeah.
stuff.
So we're collaborating. We're
Yes.
SymBowl and you guys are doing some conversations because we want to make your product more easier access
Love it.
to the St. Louis community to have as well. And we're excited. We're going to go see you guys this next weekend
Yes.
for the
yes,
big pig
for home
roast.
Yep,
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So if you are joining us or listening to this, we're going to have Overlook Farms website and all of that kind of stuff on there. If you're looking for a getaway, I would highly encourage you
absolutely.
to just retreat for a weekend or a night. If you're planning a wedding, go explore it because it really is some amazing and beautiful space. If you love Game of Thorns,
Thrones.
Game of Thorns,
Thrones. Jeez,
I don't
you were
even
so
know
out
what
of
it is. I know the space and it's amazing.
And it does look like, because I was reading Game of Thrones when I did it.
I can't get into any of it.
Oh, it's awesome.
I know. But anyway, if you're interested in any of that, venture out to, are you guys doing, I want to ask you this really quick. Are you doing anything to the public during the summertime if it's not a wedding? Like, can you
Oh,
go out there to
yes.
eat and that kind of stuff still?
We're working on that for next
Okay.
year. But we won't be open anyway to the public until April because it's definitely winter in
Yeah.
Missouri.
Yeah. So we promise you're going to hear more from Natalie because this is a great
Good.
conversation. Again, I want to thank everybody for joining us on Find Your Inner Flavor. Like us on YouTube, share us with your friends, comment on what it is that you want to hear us talking about. Again, my name is Becky Schoenig, my partner Gregory Owens. We are the owners of SymBowl located in Kirkwood, Chesterfield, and now St.Charles, Missouri. And we want to thank Com Blue for being the sponsor of this episode, The Gaslight for giving us a space to create and have fun, and Matt with Media Outlaws for doing all of our video and audio. Thank you.
Cheers.